Well, howdy there. Good afternoon. It is July 5th. Turned 41 yesterday. Yay. The DC generator has, ever since the Thermodyne PMA melted down, it's kind of been a nightmare for me. I redid the bracketry for this alternator, and that's needed to be repaired lots of times. I use pretty thin metal, and you can see it cracked. I added metal to it. I did a few things, and before I used the Thermodyne PMA, I also had that was back when I had a 12 volt system. That was when I first started living off grid back in 17, and that was a constant nightmare. I was constantly burning down alternators because these things aren't meant to, kick out their max capacity of amps continuous duty. This is just a cheap Amazon 24 volt alternator. I think it was like 80 bucks or something like that. The alternator itself actually does a really good job. It gets up to like 27 volts real quick, and then it slowly floats it up to 28.5, 29, which is great, on cloudy days. That's great. It's great to be able to do that. But being an internally regulated deal, it is loading down the belt, trying as hard as it can to produce all that juice right away, instead of just counting on RPMs for output. And being so close to the engine, it's got a short belt, and the belt gets hot, it starts to stretch. As soon as the belt starts to stretch, it slips even more, and it burns down the belt relatively fast. Okay, I can get like one, sometimes 2 tanks of gas out of the best belts I can find in town. I've tried a bunch of different stuff. Fleet Farm stopped selling the ribbed belts, and those work the best. So I either got to source them off of Scamazon or wherever. And I really haven't found a good belt that holds up to this system. So to remedy that, I'm gonna delete this old mounting system. Gonna move it further back to allow for a longer belt, and I'm gonna put I'm gonna do a hard mount on the alternator, and I'm gonna have a tensioner in there with a spring on it, and that is going to hopefully take care of my excuse me, my slipping problem, and having a longer belt hopefully won't heat up the belt so fast, and having it hard mounted, a little bit sturdier than this. This is decent, but it's still got some movement in it, and that twist makes a little vibration, and that vibration snaps metal. So I'm really sick of dealing with it. I haven't even started this thing in a long time, just because I don't want to buy another belt just to burn it down. I've been using my just standard generator. It's a 3500 watt, just a normal off-the-shelf generator, and then running that to the house, powering up the house with that, which takes the load off of the batteries, allowing whatever sun, however little sun is trickling in, to slowly charge the batteries without loading them down. And then running a 24 volt battery charger, but that 24 volt battery charger only puts out like 10 or 12 amps at 24 volts, so it's a real slow process. It's like an all day process And I got to piss 3-4 gallons of gas getting the thing topped off. It does do a good job, but this in theory with 0.8 gallons or whatever fits in this tank, it's a little bit less than a gallon. Should do that in 2-3 hours instead of all day. So I'm gonna cut all the I'm gonna unbolt all this, get the alternator off of here, cut this stuff apart, and maybe I'll save this and I can use that for rigging up my tensioner. I'm gonna use this heavy flat bar. It's 3/8, and that'll be plenty stout for mounting my alternator back here. And I'm actually gonna spin it 180 so it's turning the same direction as the engine, and that will, I think that'll make the cooling fan work even better, help keep it cool, because she was getting pretty hot. You can see, well, I don't know, you can see she was getting hot. There's a little bit of bluing on the nut, so it definitely took some heat. It didn't burn it down yet, but I'd like to prevent that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna get a little further down the way, and we'll check back when I got a better idea how this is all gonna look. I'm gonna dig through my belt, see what I got. My mobility is temporarily limited, so I kind of just got to use what I got here, unless I want to have the wife run to the hardware store, and I'd rather just use what I got around here. There's a good chance I got what I need. So okay, we'll check back in a wee bit. Alrighty, this is my solution. See here, I had that riding real low, just with 2 nuts stacked up on this skinny little metal, and I can see it cracked here too. So there must have been a good deal of twist going on. Those little 212s got some freaking torque. So I took 3 of them, put them corner to corner. That gives me a little rise off of my plate. These guys will go here, here, and here. Mount the alternator. I'll line it all up. I think I'm hoping I can reuse that as a tensioner bracket and just flip it around. If not, maybe I can move that back there. And like I said, that's just going to be hard mount. This belt is not going to work, too short. That's my pulley, so I'll have to have that on some kind of floating deal like that with a spring in it. Swap those wheels around. And I got a variety pack of springs. So yeah, I got that one on there. So this guy will go here with a washer and sole, and that'll sit like that. Can you see that? Yeah. What's wrong with that? And that gives the alternator float room. She's gonna bolt nice and tight, and the blade doesn't come close to it. That's the problem with a lot of different solutions I'd tried, because the blade comes so close to a mounting point. So yeah, got that thing cut down to size. I'm gonna burn this in real quick. I gotta put the camera down because this is gonna be a two-handed job. I gotta find a belt that's gonna work. So I gotta go digging around and then sort of eyeball it all together, figure out where it has to be, and how it's all gonna sit. And I'll kind of mark it off here with the marker, get just an eyeball on it. And then I can set it all in different piles, weld it, one piece at a time. This is, well, you know, this whole thing has kind of been, that's sort of how I build stuff, is I kind of just sort of eyeball it until it looks like it's going to run right. You know, the belt is square and going to run through the rest of it. Yeah, close enough. It has been a great running thing for a long time, but just switching to this complicated my system a little bit. I wish I could get another Thermodyne PMA, but I don't know. There's things that look like it on eBay, but I don't know. I haven't gotten any response back from the seller. I have no way of knowing that if it's actually authentic, and I don't want to spend that kind of money if it's not what I had before. That was a fantastic solution. It worked really good. She ran hard for 6 years, and then finally just melted down. Both the bearings pretty much gave out, and the rotor tore itself. It committed suicide from the inside. The rotor tore into the stator, damaged the stator beyond repair, which is a shame. It's a total loss. But this is what I got for now. Money is tight, so I'm just gonna make it work. Okay, stay tuned. I will be right back. Alrighty, it's we're getting somewhere. So she's burned in pretty good. You know, not pretty, but it's burned in. I said I was gonna hard mount it. So yeah, there is zero wiggliness. That is absolutely rock solid. I got lock washers on both sides of that. It's not cranked down super piss tight yet, but I'm gonna let it all cool down, unbolt it, take it apart, and burn these in just a little bit more, and then I don't know, I didn't even eyeball this. Yeah, maybe something like that might could work, eh? I'll swap that guy out. I'll have to find some kind of a, I think I've got the sleeves so it can fit that nut, or even reverse it. And maybe that can go off of that guy, you know, something like so. Oh, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, with that one, yeah, we'll see. That I'm gonna have to play with. I still don't have a belt. I went ahead and just pulled the trigger on our length here, so I'm gonna have to pull and probably just run a string and figure out what belt size I need, and maybe the wife is gonna have to run for me. Well, we'll see. I don't know. I probably got something laying around. I didn't dig real far for it yet, but we're getting somewhere. I do have a pretty good pile of belts somewhere, but I gotta dig. So we'll get there. All right. We'll check back a couple more steps. Alrighty. Looks kind of crazy, but it works. So pulley, the swing arm I pinned into the ear, turned it nice and snug so it, you know, can still move, and then put 3 tacks on it so it cannot unthread itself, and set this guy where it needed to be. I didn't have enough room to do washers and bolts, so I welded that in from both sides. Same thing there, gave that one a tack so it can't unthread itself. It doesn't need to be tight. I want the bearing to spin nice and, you know, smooth. And to keep it pulled back, I got this spring on here. Just welded a hook and a ring, and she floats real nice, actually. So the belt I found in the basement. Hooks right around there, like so. So, and this guy, ta-da! And she's got real nice tension. That's with no load. That's gonna work. That is 100% gonna work. So, time to bring it over there, set her in her home. You know, the box is kind of nice because it keeps the weather off and stuff, but I think I'm going to change the design on the box itself and just set her without a box for now because it makes a lot of wood vibration. But yeah, for now I'm just going to set her on the ground, get the leads hooked up, get her hooked up to the battery bank. We are losing our sun. It's still hot and humid. That's her home over there. So yeah, let's see what it does actually hooked up to the system. This is totally gonna work 100%. Sweet. Well, we're all hooked up. We got it's actually hooked up to the meter this time, so I'll be able to see what she's putting out. Let's give her a whirl. We'll put it at like half throttle. Pretty smooth. Let's go see what she's doing. We'll do this real time. Oh, walking with some pep in my step. Oh. Focus, focus. All right. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool, dude. 1,000 watts, almost, you know, 970. And the turbine ain't doing nothing, so that's all generator. 37, almost 38 amps. She's rated for 40. Awesome. That's mint. Oh, I'm really happy about that. So I got the wires coming in, just paired them up right here, and this guy comes up, negative is on the shunt, straight to the meter, and that goes straight to the bus bars, and just jams amps right into the battery bank. This is that auxiliary battery charger I use, so I can hook that up to the bus bars. So I disconnect, I kill the inverter, and physically disconnect. All I got to do is flip this switch behind here, and that disconnects power from the house to the inverter. And then that yellow wire runs out to the shed. That's a hard wire. That is wired up to the house side of that switch, so that can't when that switch is flipped, it's physically disconnected from the inverter, so it doesn't backfeed power into the inverter, which would destroy it. It only powers up the house, so that goes straight to the fuse panel over yonder and lights up the house. So then it is safe to plug that guy into that there outlet and just connect the leads right to the bus bar and then that charges 24 volts into the bank while the inverter is not being used. So any sun, any wind that's collected that day just goes along with this, and these get a chance to rest, which, you know, works. But this is, you know, like I said, it's only putting like 10 amps into the system. So it's a real slow process. It real slowly builds it back up, which is not as ideal as something like this, you know, that can just jam, you know, a steady 20. Oh, she's petered down a little bit. It's like 32 amps, but battery's starting to go up a little bit. And as it warms up, like I said, they're not made to produce you know, constant duty max amperage. As they heat up, they're gonna produce less, but it's still making 3 times, more than 3 times what that would be doing. So very cool. I'm glad it works. Now I've got 2 working options to rehab my batteries on days that it's needed. It's not needed today, but I wanted to get it done because it was just sitting there, and I wanted to run that old ethanol gas out of that damn thing, because that shit doesn't last very long. So awesome. Tensioner is working. Gonna call out a success. I'll make a box for that and find a way to make that a little bit more quiet, but I'm happy with it so far, and all that's weatherproof enough, so hell with it. It's fine for now. Awesome. Thanks for watching. God bless you.